Hello and welcome to today's video. This time we're going to be taking a look through my recent pickups for the months of May and June 2023. As well as all my pickups, I've got a superb unboxing which we're going to get straight on with right now. So sit back, relax, and let's get to it. Okay then, so this particular box has come from one of my long-term channel supporters, my friend Chris, over in the States, and he's ably assisted by his daughter Juliet, and they've been supporters of the channel for an awful long time, and I'm very much looking forward to having a look through this. So Chris graciously was able to pick me up some bits and pieces from my own collection, and he's also gone through and once again picked up a few Star Trek books which I was after. So let's have a little look. Okay, so there's all sorts of stuff in here, and we've got loads to go through. Please do not bend or fold. So there's going to be loads here, and we'll get the big box emptied first, and then we'll open all the different pieces, because there's absolutely stacks of it. Wow. We got all sorts. We've got comics, we got paperbacks. As you'll see, some cards. Blimey. Wow. There's some good stuff in here, I can see already. Ooh. Paperback gold, that's what this is, paperback gold. I've very much been looking forward to this parcel arriving, and you can see why. Wow, got some good stuff in here today. It keeps going, doesn't it? Looks like there's a fair bit of Star Trek books in there as well, which is great stuff. So there's loads I'm missing, and Chris has got, I think, a full collection of all the Star Trek books. So but I'm quite short in the DS9 and Voyager departments, and Enterprise for that matter. Right, I've actually run out of room, so let me come round this side, so we got a bit more space to take. I think the rest of it's going to be Star Trek books. So wow, this is a very, very full box. But Chris said his daughter Juliet has been religiously keeping an eye on all the posters that's been coming in. Ah yes, there's lots of these later next gen books I've not got at all actually, so fantastic. Wow. Right, I think that's the box. What a haul. Okay then, so I've put all the books into a big pile, or multiple piles in fact. We've actually still got some stuff to unpack, which will be the comic books. So I've just got a couple come through for myself. So I thought, well, what we do, a lot of this has actually been bagged up. Some of it's exactly as it's come from the eBay sellers. So I shall just go through these, because I want to obviously give them all a clean as well. But I picked up one of the lots that Chris got for me was a batch of vintage Avengers books, and they were in mixed conditions. On the whole, most of them nice. That's probably the worst one of the lot in actual fact. And they were really well priced, so you hardly ever see the American ones in the UK. I mean, I had a couple years ago, and I got rid of them, so I'm really pleased to get some back. These won't be in any order. We're just going to do this as we come across it, and I shall mix in what's come from the States with some of my other more recent pickups as well. But we'll just go through the usual process then of going through the books, taken out any pencil marks, things like that, then towards the end we'll give them all a brush off and a polish should they need it. I was really pleased to get this one. I've got the British equivalent of this thorn. These comic book paperbacks are far easier to get hold of in America than they are in the UK, and that's a particularly nice one actually. There's not too many of those, but I think I've got all the American ones now, but a couple of mine are in very, very low grade. They're really just almost like filler copies. Now I remember I used to have the British one of this, but never owned the American for Heel Harris. It's alright, isn't it? Number 4. It's got a bit of pen on the back there, so we may be able to have a stab at that. That's alright. Really pleased to get these. Now I've got a pair of UFO books as well. Now these were, I thought, very, very cheap. I won them at auction, and the ones that were up there were quite expensive. So these I think cost me about $15 each, which I was really, really pleased with. So this is the first one, and I took a bit of a gamble because it was just like a scan of the front cover rather than internal, but I particularly wanted these two. Here's number 2 here, Sporting Blood, because I actually have I own the original contract by Robert Mile, who was a chap called John Burke, to actually write these. So I've got the British set and I've got the American set. Now I hear there's a Dutch set and possibly a Japanese set as well. So any other editions, please leave a comment below. But yeah, very pleased to get those. And my friend Andy, he's also got a couple of bits in this particular parcel, has also picked up a set this time round as well. Now we've seen it already in the unpacking, but there's a lot of Star Trek books here. Now Voyager, I only had a very small smattering, the same as Deep Space Nine. I had a few that I was missing, and Enterprise I didn't have a single one. So Chris, with his comprehensive Star Trek collection, has been able to go through and send me a load of missing volumes from the series. So I'm super stoked about that. Now Star Wars paperbacks, this was the last one I needed of the comic book paperbacks, but it came in a 2-pack, and this is the American printing of the first Star Wars comic book adaptation, which I've only got in the British edition in Sphere. So 2 books, 2 Star Wars books I actually didn't have, so I was really, really pleased to get these. They weren't cheap. It cost probably about £16 for the pair, but that one I've seen, go for a lot more than that. And this one was just nice to have. As I said, I've got the British edition of it, but not the American. Yeah, first edition, November 1977. Look at that. It's that's a Howard Chaykin artwork, and yeah, not the greatest of likenesses, but I actually really like the first movie adaptation. It's so of its time, This, I've never seen this. This is from the later Star Wars comics, and I've never actually held a copy before, so I'm super pleased to get this. One of the Marvel Illustrated books. I'm trying to basically get all the comic book related paperbacks right back to the 1960s, and that's Marvel DC ones as well. I just love collecting comic book related paperbacks, and these are just no different. And this is a real scarcity. Yeah, this is November 81. And the art director John Romita passed away yesterday as we're filming this, that chap. So that's super cool. Right, now we've got another one of similar vein, in fact. Now I spotted this one and neither myself or Chris had ever even seen it before. Now I do have one Star Trek Marvel Illustrated book, but it's for the Star Trek the motion picture, and this one we'd never ever seen. I'm imagining it's set straight, look at this mint, what a minter, wow. I imagine it's set straight after the motion picture, because they're all in motion picture uniforms, aren't they? January 82. Well, I'm sure someone out there will be able to tell us which issues have been reprinted. It's usually like 3 or 4 issues they can squeeze in by resizing the original artwork. That's really nice. That's a real gem, that one. Something a little bit different. This is a Beacon book. Now, Beacon historically were known for their like sleazy titles, but they did also publish a little run of about 12 science fiction books by fairly well-known authors. Not well, this has got Randall Garrett on. This is one of those ones. It's published as a Galaxy Prize selection, so it's actually a science fiction one, but as I said, published by Beacon, who were known for their sleaze. So I'm really pleased to get this one. I've been after it for quite a while. Most of the science fiction ones were released in the UK. This was this one I've never been able to find one over here, so really pleased to get this. Now I see it's got a little 18 inside. I think I got it for $10, which I didn't think was too bad. And of the original 12 that have been published, I think I only need one now, which is great. And I think I need to update one as well. You know, what, upgrade one. But there's a couple by Philip Jose Farmer. There's an A Van Vogt included as well. There we are. That wasn't too bad. But yeah, Pagan Passion is a bit of a rarity, this one, and one that's been on the old wants list for quite a while. Now, yet another comic book paperback. This one is this is how it's come from the shipper, and they did two of these in the early 1970s, and it's a really great run of Green Lantern and Green Arrow. I don't want to get into these without damaging the books. God, it's weird how they've actually sealed them in, actually. Written, I believe, by Denny O'Neil. They've really done a number on this, which is not particularly a good number, because they made it really tricky to get in. But we want to be careful, don't we? There we are. But yeah, this is numbered number 1, and there is a number 2, which I've already got. I think number 2 is slightly scarcer than number 1, particularly in the UK, but the copies are around. You just got to be patient to get one at a decent price, I think, more than anything. But copies do exist, you know, they are all out there. They're both out there on eBay, multiple copies. But if you have ever read this run, and I read it, I don't know, I first read it about 20 years ago, maybe longer than that, and I just loved it. And I'm really pleased to get this first paperback. Look at that, JFK, Robert FK and Martin Luther King. But actually it's a really nice tight copy yet again. I have been very lucky with these. Yeah, Denny O'Neil and Neil Adams. The introduction there by SF author Samuel R. Delaney, and here they are. What a run this is. I tell you what, these are great comics. I can see why they got chosen to be put into paperback. Once again, super high grade copies, so I'm very pleased with that. Now, James Bond. So this was another really weird lot that Chris got for me. I'm trying to pick up a set of all the James Bond books in American paperback first edition. And these, ridiculously, according to the seller, they're both first prints. However, there was 2 copies, and the only difference I can see is this one's got a 50-cent over sticker, and that one's got the original 35 cents. Now, I'm not too fussed about having 2. I'd be more than happy just to have 1. If it was a pound variation, I'd probably keep it, but I'm going to have a look at both, and I'll decide which one is the better condition, and the lower grade one I'll pop into my next sales video. So this is a first print, June 1961. And they are really tough to get a set of the James Bond in American paperback first. The first 3 are particularly difficult. The later ones, well, you know, it's trying to find them at a decent price. If this was in the UK, this would be much more expensive than what I've paid for, in effect, 2 copies. So this one, I think, is the inferior of the 2. The binding, it seems quite like loose. I've been very careful, but they are both first printings. So I'll clean them up. I will get rid of one because, as I said, I don't need both, and I'll then make a decision about which one I'm going to actually keep. Another Avengers here. I used to have, I've got the British version of this. I never owned the American printing. So that's cool. Laugh was on Lazarus. John Garforth again. Such cool books. Absolutely amazing. Right, I need to make a little bit more room, so let's just pause there. Okay, so we get a few more of these Star Trek books out of the way. So I have had some absolutely fantastic viewer donations again this month. In fact, these are from Chris's own doubles. These are viewer donations themselves, so I have been quite spoiled. It's been a little while since I've actually done an unboxing. I usually do one like once a month, but I haven't been to any of the dealers I usually haunt, like Dorset Bob or All You Need Is Books. And we have, of course, got the London Paperback show coming up. So I'll take this moment to talk about that while I've got a few Star Trek books to go through. So for the first time in 4 years, we've actually got the return of the London Paperback show. Now, this is, as it says in London, it's at the Holiday Inn in Bloomsbury. I've done a dedicated video with all the details that you need to know. A bit of a few photos from previous shows that were supplied by the organiser Neil, and it's tagged on to the Ephemera show. So everything you need to know is in that, but I'm very much hoping to meet as many of you as I possibly can at that show. Do pop by. I'd love to include you in the video if you want to say a few words about what you might have come across at the show yourself, what you were looking for, and it would be great to put you in the video. It may even end up being a series of videos. It depends how much footage I actually take on the day, but if you are going to go to the London Paperback show, do please pop along and say hello. Dorset Bob will be there, as will All You Need Is Books Morris from Zardos Books. Stephen Jones, and we'll see some of his books later. He will be there. He's got a stall. So it's going to be busy. All the stalls have sold out. So it's going to be just superb. I can't wait. It's July the 30th, by the way. So as this goes out, it's about 6 weeks away. And as I said, I've done a little dedicated video with everything you need to know. A Deep Space Nine one now. Now, they didn't do too many Deep Space Nine books, and the ones I've read, absolutely fantastic, including A Stitch in Time by Andrew Robinson. What a great book that one is. Right, let's get them out of the way. Now, this one is still in the bubble wrap from the dealer. This is published by Valentine, and it's the Best American Short Story series. Now, I don't have a definitive guide to which ones were put into paperback. They weren't all done in paperback. Some years were missed, but I've got them going back into the 1950s, and I think I've got 4 from the 1950s, and then I've started trying to pick up some from the 1960s, and I will go as far as the 1970s. The Best American Short Story series is still going today, but there is a limit, but I do prefer the older ones. And these paperbacks from Valentine are particularly nice, and there is somewhere amongst the piles, there's actually another one in here somewhere for us to have a look at. But this is the first one, and I got this because it was a really good price, as I recall. So this is the one from 1964. A little note probably from the eBay seller. $5, look at that. How cool is that? Well worth that to me. And the other one was the same money. You just don't find these in the UK, but I think they're fantastic. They really are quite scarce. And of course, you do find works by authors before they actually got quite big names. There's a Joyce Carol Oates there, for example, which jumps out at me, Shirley Jackson. So there you go. I see there's a little bit of flaking on the back, but in all honesty, for $5 for this series of books that you just don't see, I'm happy with that. So this is ex-library, John Higban, something like that. So it looks like, at the start here, it does say, look, Best American Short Story in Valentine, 1960, 61, 62, and this is, of course, 63, and this is 64. So maybe all the 60s were done. This is the first Valentine print in March 65. As I said, we've got one more, but it's trying to find them at a decent price. $5, I think, was very good. I'm not going to complain. In actual fact, look, here it is, and it's the 1962 one. So that was quite good. I'm pretty I always actually thought it was from the same seller, but maybe I'm wrong. Because it's packed up slightly differently, isn't it? Well wrapped, that's for sure. I've got to admit, Valentine Books has become one of my absolute favourite American publishers. I really, really like it. Their early science fiction stuff, I am just in love with. I really, really am. Brilliant titles, gorgeous cover artwork. It's really good, you know. Yeah, definitely one of my favourite American publishers. Now this one's in much better condition. It just feels more robust. I'm sure I paid about the same though. It's about $5 with the postage on top. So yeah, great stuff. Look at that. Yeah, really, really pleased with that. One of the more typographical covers, the 50s ones I got, are in. Well, they got really, really great jackets on them. Right, let's get a few more Star Trek books done here. So we got some more Voyager. I really do enjoy Voyager as a show. It's the only thing about it which I wish they'd done, just to give it a bit more of an identity, was as Voyager was, you know, on its way back. How great to get that one! As Voyager was on its way back home. And they were going through all these battles and adventures. What I wanted was for the ship to get progressively more and more beaten up and bits not working, and you know, them sort of, it always looked a bit too clean considering their predicament, if that makes sense, you know. But that was just me, and I think at the time it just perhaps wouldn't have worked with Star Trek Voyager, but yeah, there you go. So I'm not sure how many of these they actually did. I'm going to need to look them up, but I think there's maybe 20 odd, plus some one-offs. Some I don't remember at all. I vaguely remember that one. This one I do not remember, and we sold these in the shop at the time. We were selling all the Star Trek range in Purple Haze, but this one I don't remember, number 17. It's been a while since I've watched any Star Trek Voyager, I have to say, but I was always a big fan of Captain Janeway. And this was one of the one-offs, wasn't it? So this is for Enterprise. Definitely not had this one before. Said I've not got any Enterprise at all. This is quite tail end for me. Whether I'll end up going full on and getting some of the like the Picard stuff, well, I'm not sure yet. Right, so next we've got a couple of phrase books. Now, there are, I believe, 13 of these original Penguin phrase books, and the original ones you can tell because the language is in a particular font, whereas the reprints are not. Now, in actual fact, the Spanish one here actually is a reprint, but it's still got the original cover design. Now, I've already got, I think, 4 out of the 12, so I'm just under halfway. So very, very scarce these, as I said, but when you find them, they're always pennies. Literally, you get them for really hardly any money at all. But you just got to keep your eyes peeled for when they turn up, which isn't very often. So this one, as I said, it's a reprint, but I'd be happy with it because all I'm really looking for was for the original logo. But they are very, very nice. There is, and so you can keep an eye out for these, in this same format, there's a book by Yoko Ono, which is called Grapefruit, which is supremely scarce, and it's in this square format, and I believe it is a Penguin, so keep an eye out for that. Now this one might pose a bit of a problem because it's got an awful sticker on the back. It's a first printing, as opposed to the one which is a reprint. Yeah, 1973, but it's got some pencil on, so I think this is pencil. I'm not 100% sure, is it? Or is it? No, it is pencil. Quite a dark pencil, actually. Same on the front jacket. Is that pencil as well? It is, yeah. Oh, well, that's good. A friend of mine at work married a Turkish man, and she goes out to Turkey every year, and she's virtually fluent in it now. So this book will be no good to her because she's already licked the language. Must be quite a difficult one to learn, I would think. Right. Oh, look at that. That's weird. Look how the image of the penguin is like ghosted through. How bizarre that is, isn't it? This has probably been caught in the sun. Yeah, in fact, you can see it. Look, it should be that bright, bright pink rather than this like faded pink. Now, what we're going to do about the spine, I am very much tempted to just leave it, but it does sort of spoil its eye appeal, doesn't it? So, what do you think? I am confident that is not going to come off for the time being. It's just too. Yeah, I'm just going to leave it for now. I'm not going to tempt it. It's just too big a job. It is too big a job. So don't tempt me. Okay, a little break from some of the American ones now, and I've got a small order from a vintage penguin dealer. This is the dealer who takes the names out of the hat. Basically, your order goes out the hat, and it's basically potluck what you actually win. And once again, I was miles down the list, so I ordered about 100 books, and I got about 6. So there you go. But I'm pleased to say I did get a few bits that I was really pleased with. So this is a Puffin storybook that I hadn't got. So 5 children in it. Quite a classic, actually. And I picked up some Penguin specials. These are all upgrades. I've got a full set of specials, but they're not all in tip-top shape. And this is one of about 3 which were upgrades to the ones which were already in my collection. So I will have a few doubles to add to my swaps box. Got this one quite recently. It's a services edition. So Collins White Circle actually did loads of services editions. My best estimate is about 250 different ones. There really is a massive list, but this is one I haven't got. It was a £5, and my love of services editions knows no bounds. So I picked it up, and I was over the moon with that. Really over the moon. So I think it was 1946. So it's post-war. Yeah, first published 1939. The services edition was 1946. I think it's great. Really good, that one. J.N. Walsh. So yeah, I do love a good services edition. Here is another special, which was an upgrade. The Last Confucian, Vietnam. Unfortunately, as is common with a lot of these specials, that spine should be as red as that, and unfortunately it's got sun bleached. It wasn't mentioned in the description on the catalogue. It just had like a grading, like an A, a B, a C, and then a plus or minus. It was from a collection which was supposed to be it was an ex-dealer's collection, and well, there you are. So I don't know, it's still probably better than the one that I've got. Now, once again, you may be seeing double. The Restaurant at the End of the Universe. I've got, thankfully, I've managed to track down a first edition, so I've got both books in first printing, and I've also got readers. This is actually the first of Restaurant in paperback. It was a PBO, wasn't it? And this is actually like a reading copy, but it's actually the original jacket, the one that I read as a kid, but it's a 6 printing. There we are, and they're both absolutely fine. They just need the old brush off. I did also pick up Life, the Universe and everything, so got the next one as well, which was pretty cool. And this one I believe is a first print. I'm hoping it is. Yes, first published 1982. There we are. So I've got the first 3 now in the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy trilogy. Very easy to get hold of course, because they're massive print runs. Very pleased to get this. So this is, once again, so one of my Penguin specials that's in a really bad state. This one's slightly miscut. You can see it should be quite sharp, but it's a reflection of the time when these were printed. So I'm not complaining about it. And as I said, this is going to be a big upgrade to what I've actually got in my collection already. So I'm definitely not complaining. And of course, I remember this one had a contemporary reviewing of the book. So I'm going to keep that in with it, because I tend to do that. But yeah, a nice scarce wartime one, 1944, that. Very delicate indeed. Here's the second Puffin book I got from the same dealer. Poems by Walter de la Mare. Once again, early-ish number 176. I'm honing in now. I've only got a handful of books to get to finish the second 100 Puffin storybooks. I got the first 100 now in first edition, and I've got a handful to finish for the second 100. And thankfully, 2 came my way in this particular order, and they were both, both really cheap, like £3 or something each, which wasn't bad. And then the last, I think, of the vintage penguins from that collection was this one, which is one I've been after for quite a while. I don't think it's particularly rare, but it is sought after, I guess, because there's fans of this sort of stuff out there who aren't penguin fans. So, one on scootering, and in the days of the mods and the rockers, Puffin Handbook number 79. Very, very nice, this one. And you can see why it's a sought after one there. The Lambretta lovers would love this as well. Got a couple of corners trimmed there, but it's nothing to worry about. We'll forgive it. 1962. That's super cool. That's really nice. Now, who's the cover design? Bruce Robinson did the cover design. That's actually, a really nice one. So I'm very, very pleased with that one. So that's cool. Okay, so this next item was what actually prompted me to ask Chris if he wouldn't mind getting it for me. So I am a fan of Hello Hello. I really am. It was the series that sort of came, I believe, after Heidi High. I don't think they were running concurrently. And but I could be wrong. But it was from the creators of Dad's Army, and it is there we are. So I'm trying to get a set of all the cast signatures, but undedicated on original Hello Hello postcards. And for some reason, even though it's a very, very British series indeed, this official signed postcard turned up in America, which I couldn't believe, So very, very pleased to get that. They're super scarce, and Kirsten Cook. So that's a groove on that. So that will be added to my little collection of Hello Hello postcards. Now I don't know how many I need. I've got over half the cast now, but so many of them are super scarce and sought after. But I believe I've got one of the most sought after ones, which is Kenneth Connor, and that's because of his Carry On appearances. And all the Carry On cast is super sought after. It's as simple as that. So as I managed to get this one out, there we are. Well, that was a bit of an epic, just getting it out of the actual wrap, but there we are. It's got a little code on the back, so we shall get rid of that. But yeah, as far as I can tell, apart from the air pilots in Hello Hello, all the main cast had a postcard like this. Some of the cast, if they were in it a long time, actually there's like a couple of different versions. Renee, for example. I think there's at least 2 different sorts, but just one of each will do me, and I'd like to eventually get the full set if I could. So I've got a couple of larger format books to do now, and I've been on a bit of a Danger Man rewatch just lately. It's been ages since I've watched this series right through, and I've already got some of the paperbacks. We've got at least one other of the American ones to come today, but I am trying to track all the related books down, and there's a couple of annuals. There's a TV storybook, there's a TV All-Stars, 2 of those as well, and I think there's 3 comics, 2 Gold Key, there's a Dutch comic as well. I'd like to get all of it if I could, but they are proving quite scarce, because I want to find them in nice condition for the right price, and that one's actually really, really nice. So yes, very pleased with that one. The other one I got was this, which I actually thought I already had, but I didn't. I think I was confusing it with the Avengers one. So this is the Prisoner and Danger Man episode guide, and a lot of people think that Danger Man, the sort of character, just morphed into the character who was in the village in the Prisoner, but once again, very, very easy to get that one, and also quite cheap. The annuals, not so much. They're actually proving, to find them in nice nick, you are looking at sort of £10 to £15 now on those. Okay, so there was one more vintage penguin, and that's this one. It's The Things We See. It's number 4, Pottery and Glass. Very pleased to get this one. They go up to number 7. I think I need maybe 2 more for the set, 2 or 3 more. It's really just sort of quite an interesting sort of little series, which Penguin published, 1947. And there's this one's in the dust wrapper. There's like different sorts of dust wrappers as well. So it's an interesting series to actually collect. I said you don't often come across them, but all the other ones I've got actually from boot sales, believe it or not, and they just seem to have turned out because they don't look like an ordinary vintage Penguin book. Now, while I was here, I thought I'd read out a little letter from one of my channel supporters, Ludmilla Gerard. So Ludmilla says, "Hello Jules, I hope you're well." Well, I am, thank you very much. She says, "I watched your recent video about Agatha Christie with great interest. In France, they've recently released Agatha Christie's books in paperbacks and hardback versions with the original covers. No idea why some are in paperback and others are in hardback format. The hardbacks are about 18.5 centimetres by 11.5 centimetres and the paperbacks 18 by 11. As you can see, she sent some photos which I'll stick up on the screen now. Some have English cover art and some have covers by French artist Jean Bernard. They also publish books by Edgar Wallace, John Dixon Carr and Conan Doyle in the hardback format. At one point in your video, you show Christie signing books. I might be wrong, but I seem to recognise the mask logo and the colour of the cover." You are correct. Someone else from one of the Christie websites pointed out that these were French editions. She says Hachette is currently publishing an Agatha Christie collection with magazines like the one you showed in your videos, but the covers are ugly, and she sends a link. And they're right, the Hachette ones that she's referring to are just generic typographical covers with no pictures on at all. So not a lot of fun. So thanks Ludmilla for that. That was great information. Now this item here has come from my friend Andy. Now you may know Andy, he does the great card videos on the channel, and he's recently finished his vintage Typhoon Tea card albums, and this is a really early one which I definitely haven't got, called Travel Through the Ages, and we'll have a flick through since we're here. I don't know if it's going to be dated at all, but we'll no dates so far. But I believe, well, I mean, I don't know how scarce any of these are, but Andy has said that he will do a video. He'll bring around his entire collection, and we're going to do a video of the whole lot. I'm hoping it's going to be definitive. The web's definitive guide to Typhoon Tea albums. There we are. So very, very nice. No date on that, but my suspicion is mid-1960s. Now, I've got a couple more viewer donations. So these are from my friend Paul. Now, Paul has sent me a few bits in the past, and he's given me a couple more treats here. Absolutely delighted with these. So Paul says, "Hi Jules, I hope you're well. Please find enclosed a couple of items which I thought you might like. Hopefully they're non-duplicate." Well, they're definitely not duplicates, and I love both of these. He says the Animal Farm is stamped a pulp copy. Now look at this. Have you ever seen the like? And I actually did a little search on eBay, and I found 2 other books, all from the same year, 1974, which are stamped as pulp copies, which is crazy, isn't it? So I see this one's got a little $1.99 inside, which was I would have snapped this up for $1.99. I've got a couple of Orwells from this period because I like to pick them up in the different jackets, but I haven't got this one. In fact, I've never even seen one in the flesh of this one, so it's really, really nice. It's in the Modern Classic library, and it's an absolute beauty, isn't it? Really, really interesting jacket, that one. Cover shows it either from the Tilled Field, Joan Miro. That was the artist of that, but very unusual to have that pulp copy. I mean, what does that mean? Is it going to be pulped, or is it being returned? I don't know. He also sent a copy of this, which is an early paperback fanzine. Look, Paperback Forum. There's David Goodis and friends. How cool is this? Look at this. It's an early American paperback fanzine. And 1985. Look who's got the first article. I read Homicide Hotel by none other than fellow YouTuber Gary Lavisi. We've got Piet Schroeder's I recognise as well. He wrote the great book of paperbacks. So pretty cool there. And he says he brought it to my attention because on page 45 is a picture of, there it is, the Penguin Incubator, which is the Penguin's very first vending machine. They do have one in Exeter railway station now. But there was the very first Penguin Incubator. Didn't last very long, sadly, because the design was such that you could put in your sixpence and you could get more than one copy of a book out. So Penguin knocked it on the heads. Nobody, there isn't one an example, and there's not one in private hands. In fact, there's a call here from the company that says if you've got one in your basement, they want it for their 1985 exhibition, which was 50 years of Penguin. But apart from, I think, this single solitary photograph, there is none known to exist. It's very, very rare. A bit like the Penguin Books fountain pen from the 1930s and 40s. Very, very scarce. But this is really nice. It's a nice early fanzine, and I love reading fanzines. And this was no different. Very, very cool indeed. Look at that. So yeah, Paperback Forum. Not one I've heard of. Number 2 from 1985. Pretty cool. That great present. Thank you very much for that, Paul. Yeah, super cool. So since we last filmed a video of pickups, this one has been published. So this was published to commemorate Prince Charles becoming King Charles III, and this is a brand new Charlie Higson James Bond book on His Majesty's Secret Service. Now, as you may know, I'm a huge Charlie Higson fan. I really enjoyed his Young Bond books, and this one was available direct from the Ian Fleming Foundation, and it's just a signed copy, so I got it direct. It's not the Goldsboro one, which is signed and numbered, although this one from the Ian Fleming Foundation was only a 200 run, and they sold straight out. So it's a shame they couldn't have got somebody to go in and like number them out of 200, which would have been good. However, on their Twitter feed, and I'll pop this video up now, they did post a little video of Charlie going down to the warehouse, the distributor's warehouse, with his high visibility jacket on, and working his way through the 200 that were signed for this particular edition. So I'm very pleased with it. I'm looking forward to giving it a read, and I'm sure it will be a corker. Now, a couple more viewer donations. These are from Rudolph. Now, these have come from America. They just sort of came his way. Rudolph is a fan of the channel, and he knows of my interest in the Alfred Hitchcock and the Three Investigators books. So thank you very much for these, Rudolph. I haven't got any American editions, and I haven't got any in hardback whatsoever, so I was super excited to get these. So this is number 12, and they got different jackets to the British ones, of course, and really nice. They got nice. These are really collectible in America. I don't think either of them are first printings, but I don't care. This one actually I think might be. I think this one actually is for number 12. And this one here, The Mystery of the Whispering Mummy, this is number 3. I'm pretty sure this is a reprint. Not that I mind, because I'm going to shelve these with my Three Investigators paperback collection. And really nice to have a couple of examples of these. Yeah, this one first published 1965. It doesn't actually say if it's a first printing or not, but I'm pretty sure it's, well, it wouldn't be, because look, we've got the big list on the back, and this is number 3, so those hadn't been published. So definitely a reprint, but we don't care because they're super cool. So thank you very much for these, Rudolph. There, a couple of nice additions to my Three Investigators collection there. Next, I suppose, we got some more American paperbacks to get through. So some more Avengers, Passing of Gloria Monday. That's a nice glossy one. So we really have these American Avengers. It was just that one which was a slightly lower grade, but I'm going to keep my eyes peeled, and in a future parcel from America, hopefully I'll be able to fill in the gaps. This one, years ago, I used to have as an American edition, The Magnetic Man. Some of these, my friend Andy was telling me, actually have, there's 2 versions, there's different covers, so I'm going to have to keep my eyes peeled for those as well. I have got a little checklist, and yeah, I'll keep an eye out for the different variations of these. But what a great lot. All these Avengers books off eBay I think cost me $15 for the lot. What a steal, I think, you know, considering they're just not really around in the UK, not in these editions. So I'm not sure if this is a first or if it's the reprint, but let's see if we can see. April 67. It appears to be a first. It's got a sort of a hidden crease going down the front there, but it's all right. It's okay. All right, we got some more starter. So you may have seen on the channel, we had a very popular video which was filming my friend George's 1970s Doctor Who collection. Very, very nice collection. Something George has been doing for literally decades, and it's had a lot of positive feedback from the viewers, and we're very much looking forward to covering the 80s soon as well, when we get a chance. But it's a huge undertaking for George to pull all his Doctor Who, vintage Who stuff out. So you know, it will come, but it will come in time. We've also, at the same time, we were able to film his run of X-Men comics, X-Men numbers 1 to 100, which is super cool. So very, very pleased with that. Do Comets Dream? Don't remember. Nice. These tail end next gen ones, the ones that are solo stories, I thought I had them all, but there was some that I just definitely didn't have. So great to fill these little gaps in. This is a two-parter. Chris has sent me both parts. Maximum Warp parts 1 and 2. That one's got a sticker on, so, but it might be a tricky sticker, so I'm probably going to just leave that. I don't mind the 2-book series. I'm not such a fan of the ones which go on for like 3 or 4 book series, you know. There's a few exceptions, of course, but I remember this one. I haven't got any past, I think, number 50, so these are all new to me. Yeah, early 2000s, you see. I think it's because by then my shop shut in, I think, 2001, so we wouldn't have had these brand new when they were getting published. 60. Cool. Gem World. See, this is a 2-parter as well. Gem World book 1 and 2. Nice jackets on this. Lovely. Really nice, those. I very much enjoyed the season 3 of Picard. I thought it was excellent. Really, really great. And I can't help but think there's going to be a bit of a lead into a 7 of 9 led show. And I wonder if they could ever attempt Kate Mulgrew back. Don't know. Are her Star Trek days over? I don't know. Another good one as well, Forgotten War. Excellent. Right, I need to make some room. Okay, so here is one of the Danger Mans I was missing. I think it leaves me with just one to get, and I tried to get one. I asked Chris to pop a bid in, and we just got outbid, or we made an offer and the seller just wanted a bit too much. So obviously Danger Man in America was called Secret Agent, but the books are the same. And I think, yeah, it just leaves me with one left to get now. So super pleased with that. 1966. This one's here is the pair. So Chris has put these 2 were the buy it now ones. So they're for my friend Andy. So I'll just leave those exactly as is. He doesn't need me to clean them. Another Voyager one here. Got a few more Star Trek ones. Let's put that Danger Man up there for now. Voyager number 6. Dark Matters, that rings a bell. That was another series, wasn't it? Yeah, book 3 of 3, Christy Golden. Yeah, December 2000. See, even these are 23 years old now. And the Avengers ones we're looking at, blimey, they're almost 60 years old. Super ancient. But I don't think I'm going to have too big a job actually cleaning these, because the books that have come my way, and we're almost at the end, are actually in really, really great condition. So I don't think I'm going to have much to do with cleaning. However, we've still got some large format parcels I haven't even opened yet, so we'll do those in just a sec. We've just got the last of these paperbacks from Chris to do. I have saved probably the best little trilogy to the end. So it's a three-book series rather, which is particularly scarce to get in Britain. And they were published over here, but not until the early 80s. And even the British editions are scarce, but the American ones are incredibly scarce. So these are perfect, Chris. Thanks so much for these. I know there are your doubles, but even so, fantastic. Last Star Trek. Never seen this one. Battle of Beta's Head. It's one of those one-shots, but never seen that. I bet that's a good read. Awesome. And then here is that trilogy. So it is The Prisoner. So Prisoner 1, 2 and 3. Now you just don't see those very often in Britain. I mean, you really, really don't. So these came as a set, and they weren't cheap. It was by far the dearest thing I bought. But, you know, they are what they are, really. So this has got a bound in review. I think he did mention that in the, description. I think it was, oh, there's Patrick McGowan there. Huh. Maybe it was a little thing on the, on McGowan himself rather than the actual Prisoner books. Not sure. Can't see anything obviously Prisoner here. Oh, there we are. There's a little article from Ampersand from 1981. Maybe that's, I mean, that was around the time it got really popular again in the UK, wasn't it? So it's just a little, you know, clipping. And here's another one here from, it looks like from 1978. Yeah. So what I'll do with these, because my friend Andy is even more of a Prisoner fan than I am, in fact a lot more of a Prisoner fan, so I'm going to put those with his UFO books, because I think he might enjoy looking through those. So here is the first one. This one's actually been laminated, which I did not realise actually. So oh, there's some more here, but it has, sometimes with lamination I'm not overly keen on it if I can help it, but it's not the end of the world, because it does keep the books fresh, which is also cool. And that says some early 6 of 1 stuff. So maybe the guy who had these was a real sort of Prisoner fan. But once again, I shall pass that to Andy. He's got loads of fan club stuff, so I'm sure he'll be happy with that. I'm not a number. But yeah, you don't really see these in the UK anymore. They are... well, you never see them in the UK. You just don't. This is another one here. It's been, and I did know about this tanning because they have been laminated. I did know about that, but I think I once saw one in the UK and it was 50 quid. It's like, he said, find me another one, and I literally couldn't. And I've had these on a British saved search for, I don't know, the best part of 2 years, and an American one I don't think has ever come up. So you can get the British ones easily, but the American ones just aren't there. So although I'm a little disappointed that they're laminated, they've also served their purpose in the fact that they've kept the books in great shape, you know, and time they're polished as well. I think they'll come up quite nice. Yeah, a very scarce set that in the world of TV tie-ins. Yeah, you don't often see those. Cool. Right, well, we do actually have some more that need unpacking. So I did order a few comics, so not many, but my friend Andy ordered a couple of Star Trek comics. Now he's mentioned these a long time, and a couple of viewers have mentioned them. You know, I'm a fan of the Star Trek photo novels. Well, John Byrne, the comic artist John Byrne, apparently carried on the tradition and made some brand new photo novels. And Andy only needs 2 for the set, and we were able to find them in America. So we know that those are on their way. But let's have a look and see what else we've got here. So incredibly well wrapped, which is good to see, of course. Better well wrapped than not, is what I say. Well, I meant to open these because I don't know if it's the Star Trek ones or if it's the comics I ordered. So all will be revealed in a moment. God, blimey. So it is one of the ones for Andy. So that was incredibly well wrapped, wasn't it? So The Enemy of My Enemy. Yeah, look. Star Trek, created by Gene Roddenberry, photo play by John Byrne, published by IDW, number 21. So I'll slip that one up there. I've got to admit, I am quite curious to have a look inside that, so I'm sure Andy wouldn't mind us opening one of them up. But let's do the next parcel in this vein. I think I know what this is. Even without looking at it, I know what's in here. And at least it's the right dimensions. It's a book I didn't realise. There's a series of books that came out, and I think only a few of them were ever released in the UK. And I had one of them. It was based on the Charlie Brown. You know, they did the Charlie Brown Peanuts cartoons. Much more popular in America than over here. And they did a hardback based on it. But I found out that they did, like, I think 6 in this series. I said, I've got one, which I absolutely love to death. It's my original one from when I was a kid. And I found one in the States for just a few dollars, like $5. And I was more than happy to pay that to get my hands on another one from that series. Whether I'll be able to get them all, I don't know. They did get paperbacked, I've since found out, but the paperbacks don't have the appeal to me. The hardbacks, however, are super cool. So, yeah, very, very pleased. So I'm hoping condition-wise it's going to be all right. My original one is not great, I'm letting you know, but yes, that may be enough to slide it out. Yes, it is. Chardonnay? No, thank you. There we are, look. It's a mystery Charlie Brown. So it's a Charlie Brown special, and it's a TV. So you see Snoopy sat on top of the TV. So I had one of these, and this will need just a little bit of buffing up. It's got a faded spine, but that'll be absolutely fine. The one I've got is not in the greatest of shape, but these are quite scarce in hardback. And I just love them. I love the art style on it. I love Peanuts anyway, but these are just, there's something about them. They're absolutely excellent. Snoopy or Sherlock Holmes there. 1975. Wow-wee. How cool. And that's when I had mine. I really like that. I got to say, I really, really do. Yeah, I guessed what it was just by feeling the dimensions of it, if you can believe it. Now, this one should be somewhat easier to do by the look of it. It might be Andy's other Star Trek comic. It may be a vintage DC that I ordered. And it is. Yes, look at that. So this is a DC 100 page super spectacular. It's DC 11. And I picked this one up. It's cost me about a tenner, I suppose, in English money. It's really, really scarce. It's got a wraparound cover. They're just extremely rare over here. And I'd like to, ideally, I'd like to get all the 100 page super spectaculars. I think they're really great. Like the 80 pages, they are around. There's a couple of weird ones which are expensive, like, you know, sort of romance ones, but apart from that, they are out there. So anyway, this is another comic, and it must be Andy's other Star Trek one. There we are. Look at that. Yeah, we got it right. Literally sealed to the cardboard there. But there we are, an unexpected yesterday. Look at that. That's that one. It's really nice, isn't it? Maybe towards the end we'll have a little look at that as well, and I'm sure Andy won't mind us looking inside one of them. But if that's an idea of the cover, that's super cool. Excellent. Now, this was a month, an incredible month, for some review copies coming through. So this one's come in. Now, you may have seen my review of Kong by this author, edited by Stephen Jones. This is actually a new book, Robert Silverberg, the science fiction author, Monsters and Things. And this is his latest one in his series. Oh, there is an error on this one, but this isn't the review. This is just to show you it's just come in. I will have like a dedicated review of this one. But just to let you know, that one's just been published. Pretty cool. Looks a cracker, particularly if you're into Robert Silverberg. So that's just come out. I've got these pair as well. So this is Lawrence Block, The Naked and the Deadly. Now, hopefully by now you would have watched the dedicated video I've done on these books. I've actually got, these are the copies I've got to give away. So I was able to get an extra copy of each book, literally to give away as a competition. So head over to the channel when you've finished watching this one. Look for the Naked and the Deadly video, dedicated video, and there'll be instructions about how to enter and win either the hardback or the gorgeous paperback. They're both fantastic within the video, so go and check that out now. And I have one other which has come my way, which I didn't want to not cover as well in my monthly roundups. It's this one. It's The Art of Ron Lesser. Once again, fantastic. I've done a dedicated review of it as well. Beautiful, beautiful book. Looking at Ron's career, movie and paperback jackets. Just fantastic, as you can see. Oh, gorgeous, gorgeous book. I have actually read it 3 times now, so there you go. Highly, highly recommended. What a month, or what a couple of months rather, for new books and book pickups. Absolutely superb. Okay, so what I've done overnight, I've edited the first part of this video, and because I had the base as the black card, it actually gave me a bit of more of a reflection than I actually wanted in the particular lighting that's set up at the moment in the office. So I swapped it round to my more traditional grey, but we should be able to actually have a look at the books a little bit better. So first step then, I'm going to go through and brush off everything that I can brush off, and then I will pull to one side everything that I'm going to be able to polish, and then we'll get these finally cleaned up. Now, on these Star Trek books, I'm pretty confident that my friend Chris and his daughter, in fact Juliet, have already given the Star Trek books a really good clean, because they're big fans of the channel, and I know they've gone through their Star Trek collection in depth. However, since they're here, might as well give everything an extra go. This, for example, loads of dust coming off that. Look at it, loads coming off. And that's not surprising, because they're 60 years old and full of it. Yes, loads coming off there. But I don't mind, that's fine with me. That's better. But these can all be polished. I'm doing them in little sort of groups of 3 or 4, depending on the size, and some will need more than others. It's as simple as that. But yeah, the much longer process is going to be the polishing. It should bring these books up really nicely. Here's those 2 little phrase books. Not too bad actually, dust-wise. The Secret Agent one's a funny size, so we'll do that on its own. It is indeed a messy process. As for these Star Trek books, there's nothing coming off these. They've already been through Chris's process, so that's good. I remember Chris telling me he bought lots of job lots of Star Trek books, and that's exactly how I managed to get most of my collections together. I bought a few job lots, which I used as the basis for my collection, and then started filling in the blanks. Yeah. Quite a bit of those Avengers books, but they are 60 years old, so we'll let them off, I suppose. Now there's a couple here. All the books that we've done so far are going to need a polish. However, obviously that early Penguin special cannot be polished, but look at the dirt along the top there before we actually get around to doing it. Here. You can see we've taken quite a bit of dirt off there, off that 1944 book. Let's just double check. So all of that can be polished. That one cannot. That one can have a clean, yeah. So just the ones so far that I put in a separate pile as ones we can't actually touch. Can't polish a matte, sort of a matte paper cover like that because it would just ruin it, of course. So have to be very, very careful with these. But it's not rocket science. You can easily tell if you can polish a book or not. Generally, books from about 1950 up are okay. They're pretty good. Fair game, you know. Earlier than that, tread with caution, but there are some books which are laminated covers anyway, so you'll have nothing to worry about with those ones, you know. That's cool. Now these 3 prisoner books, thankfully they're very uniform in size, so they should brush up quite nicely. Yeah, these actually aren't too dusty at all. The top edge is always the one, of course. Nope, they're alright. And they can be polished. Now, that one cannot be polished, so I'll pop that one over there. This one's okay, it's a 70s and they're okay, so most of it's going to be okay to be done. Right, so that's okay, as is that one. As is that one. This one isn't. That one we're just going to leave exactly as is. It's actually quite a brittle little number, this one. So there's a couple of pages turned over there. But yeah, really pleased with that one. I actually read it as a kid. So yeah, cool stuff. Okay. Okay, that's all the paperbacks, but we've got some of the slightly larger books as well. So, if I just get these into piles, give these to a brush. Now, this is an example where they're fairly recent books in the 60s, but they have got matte jackets, so they cannot be polished at all because that would damage them. So they're not going to be touched either anymore. This one should be fine. So I'd brush it first, and then we'll just give it a really good polish, and it should come up really nice. There we are. So we get our polish in there. That'll take away quite a bit of that dirt. Now, while we're here, I did say we'd have a quick look inside one of the Star Trek comics. Let's see which one might be the easiest to open. Well, both the same. So let's just. Sure, Andy won't mind us having a quick look, just so we can say. We've had a look, because Andy did say, and now that he's got the full set, we could potentially do a video on these. So let's just have a little flick through. Some of the other ones in the series, and there we are. Look, it's photo novels. Wow. Well, an extremely clever use of Photoshop from what I can see. How funny that John Byrne, the fantastic illustrator, has turned his hand to something like that. Very, very unusual. But there we are. So at least we've had a look. So obviously the comics can't be touched either. They have to be as is that one. And this, however, can have a little brush off. So I'll take off the dust wrapper so that we can brush the top of the book. I've got quite a few books in this format from Penguin, Puffin picture books, and other ones in this Things We See series. I've got some Penguin modern painters, all in this slightly unusual format, which I've never really got around to getting out and showing on the channel, so I will do that eventually. It would be nice to finish this series though, I have to say, before we get to that stage. And then we've got these two larger format books, so let's pop those over there. This one should clean up lovely because it's just got some black marks there, like fingerprints and stuff, so that will come up lovely. There we are. So that's all the brushing done. Now we've got an army of polishing to do. Alright, let's get a corner damp. For a fair bit of cleaning today. Obviously the ones in the Star Trek books are not going to need a lot, but some of the other stuff will. So the eBay purchases and that, so we'll give them extra attention. This was just a cheap purchase of eBay. It didn't cost very much at all. Just a bit of fingerprints on, that was about it. And we can live with that. hopefully, now that I've changed the backdrop, as it were, hopefully you get to see the books in a bit more detail. It's mainly on this logo, wasn't it, that you could see the fingerprints. That's where it's been picked up. It's got most of it up okay. A few little marks, but nothing too bad. Thankfully, these World Distributors annuals are really well made, so they generally don't tend to be difficult to clean, you know. But I want to get this big stuff out of the way first, so that we got a bit more room to work on the paperbacks in detail. But that's fine. Just, yeah, it's a shame there's a couple of little marks on the front that didn't quite come up as well as I'd like. And I think now that I've cleaned them, they're not so much marks as like little dings, but still a nice copy. This one should be lovely. I just realised I needed to do the insides here, so let's just do the edges on the inside. Sometimes you can forget that, and then the very bottom of the spine doesn't look so nice. There we are. Can't get the staff, you know. That's what it is. Right, let's make. I do sometimes on these videos need a bit of a bigger table. Anyway, this one also needs quite a bit of work because it is a children's book from the 1970s. It's probably seen a bit of action. I wonder who the original owner was. But when I've seen other ones in this series turn up online, they have been in an absolutely appalling state. Really, really terrible. So this one, as I was hoping, is coming up very, very nicely indeed. So you see there's a few like little sort of black marks on it. Getting near the end of the can, so need to spray in a vertical manner. There we are. Lovely. And then once again we'll just do the inside edges, because they can pick up dirt that you don't really notice initially. It takes a moment. I used to have a huge collection of the Peanuts paperbacks, the British ones, going way back into the late 1950s. I think they started coming out in paperback over here. I do wish I kept the really early ones, but there you go. I had to make some. I had just a whole shelf of it. It was absolutely excellent, but can't keep it all. But that is very, very nice. Right, that's going to give me a bit of room now, so I'm going to just rejig the table a touch. Okay, so we are back. made some room, and we're going to get these paperbacks worked. So I'll pay a little bit of extra attention on the really early ones and the stuff that we got from eBay USA, but the Star Trek, I don't think we need to worry about any of that at all, because I think it's going to be absolutely fine. So I'll just give it a cursory wipe over. But these, as you can see, is taking up a few little marks. As I knew it would. There we are, that's quite bright, that one. I checked, and the Yoko Ono book is actually published by Spear. It wasn't a Penguin. I remember the paperback Spear edition of it, and in the 90s there was a dealer who had a copy, and it was only £20, and I see the paperback editions of it now are about 300. So there you go. And I've seen at least 2 editions signed by John and Yoko in the several thousand, sort of the £5,000 mark. These Trek books are absolutely fine. They don't need any polishing at all, so I don't need to worry about those. It's just going to be some of the more vintage stuff. That's what I shall concentrate on. Yeah, nice to get these. I don't think any of them are that difficult to get, except perhaps the first one, which was it's tricky to get in the correct edition. Secret Agent. Yeah, I've been rewatching these recently. I've been really loving them. Very, very clever. The early ones are, because they're only half an hour, or even less than that, they're very much almost like stories with a twist. And some of them are a bit Mission Impossible as well, you know, in what he has to sort of get up and do. I've really enjoyed rewatching them. It's been ages, and I don't think I've ever gone chronologically all the way through them. So, yeah, it's been brilliant. Oh, lovely that, isn't it? Right, so let's just round up this pile. I think we need a fresh bit of cloth before we do any more. Let that soak in a bit. Yeah. So this one had quite a bit of dirt on it that you can feel under the cloth here. I think we picked up loads of that. So yes, I should definitely be keeping my eyes peeled for similar lots of this, and asking my friend Chris to dive in. But they don't turn up that often, you know, but they are all up there if you want them. Just trying to find them at a nice bargain price, really. This one was really nice. I was really impressed with the condition of this one. Of course, it's going to make my other ones look rubbish. I've got the two. They did 2 for Fantastic Four, and one of them is really, really ropey. It's probably my worst condition one, but I don't think I'd ever seen this one in the flesh before, so I was very, very keen to get it, and it was there. So Chris grabbed it for me, which is super cool. Yeah, very nice indeed. Another Avengers. This is the one, because it's a black cover, it shows up all the little marks and creases. So it'll be one that'll potentially be a bit of a filler until a better one comes along. we got another Star Trek, so we can just pop that straight on there. There's my two UFO books. I said they were from the same seller, so I guess they're an original owner one, or original owner pair. But they seem pretty nice, you know, a little bit. They've got slightly faded spines, ever so slightly. And they've been read, so they've got a slight spine roll, but nothing too bad. And more than happy to have these in the collection, because I don't think I've ever seen them in the UK before. But there's loads of them online in the States at varying prices, you know, so. It is my favourite Anderson series, so definitely wanted to get these. Lovely. Pagan Passions. Oh dear. So much better than most of my ones from this series. Once again, because the copies I've got on the whole are imports, and they've been through the British newsagent system, and then the second-hand market. This is a really, really nice one. And if you collect vintage paperbacks in the States, you are a little bit spoiled, aren't you? Once again, although this is vintage, over 40 years old, this is absolutely minters. I mean, wow, wow, wow. That's just stunning, condition-wise, that one. And yeah, very, very pleased to get this final Star Wars one, rather, that I was after. So I don't think, these Marvel Illustrated books, I don't think I'm missing that many. I think there's one for Dragon Slayer, the movie Dragon Slayer. I picked up a Conan one this year for the Conan movie, but I don't think there's much beyond that. I still haven't actually got a definitive list. I've started putting together a list of what I believe everything that was ever published in chronological order, British and American editions. But it's not easy, shall we say. It's not an easy bibliography to pull together, because I'm relying on what I'm seeing online rather than what someone's pulled together. Although I did have a small list of some reprint stuff which DC published, so I've got a vague idea of most of it, shall we say. And thankfully I've got a fair bit myself which I can use as a reference, but it's a tricky old situation. But you know, these comic book paperbacks were like the early graphic novels, in effect, before graphic novels were anything like they are today. Both Marvel and DC published them from the early 70s onwards, but they didn't really become a mega thing until like the adult graphic novel, you know, with the introduction of something like Watchmen and Batman the Dark Knight Returns. That was the key. That, I suppose Mouse was another one. These were the start of the really booming graphic novel market, and that's such a huge part of it now. It's probably what keeps the comic book business in business. It's graphic novels. Okay, for your eyes only. A double. You are seeing double. Yeah, I need to have a look and see which one I'm going to keep. I think it's the regular one rather than the one with the over sticker on. But even so, nice first printing of a scarce book, particularly scarce in Britain, so there you go. Yeah, this will be the one I keep. Nice to have an addition to my Bond paperback library. It's been a long time since I've picked up a new Bond book. ages. In fact, this may only be the first one this year. They've all been on my saved once list. They just don't seem to turn up. That's nice. A later one, of course. But what was this? Was it 61? Yeah, first print in June 1961. Well, hey, so we've got the Star Treks again. There we are. So that's that pile. So let's get them squared up. Okay. Scootering. Yeah. Cool on this. I'm going to get another fresh bit of cloth. Yeah, I'm really pleased to get this one. What a fun title. Not a lot of wear on it, but just a little bit. There we are. Nice and bright now on the back. What a difference that made. Yeah, very much of its time, that one. I really like that one. Cool. This one, I'm just going to give it a cursory one. It don't think there's any sort of marks on it, but I did just want to give it the once over. Maybe a little bit on that. Now, these are prisoner books. I'm going to leave them to the end because they need a bit of extra special. So we've got Star Treks. They are all fine. I don't need anything on these. Yeah, so none of that we need to worry about. Okay, so I've sorted it so it's just the vintage stuff left now. I've pulled all the other Star Trek books out of the way. And we'll give these prisoner ones a clean of their laminate. I said they've done the job, that's for certain. I have got some other quite rare books that have been laminated, some from the Edge series, and it really does make a difference. It keeps the books underneath in super clean condition, but the laminate itself can get dirty with handling, so that's why it's worth me cleaning these right now, just to take off any little bits of fingerprints and what have you, and dirt that's built up since these were first done back in the 1960s. There we are, that's fine. Now, this one's actually a little bit worse for wear. It looks like it's caught a bit of sun, possibly. May have been on the top of the pile of 3, possibly, but we'll give it a go. It's sometimes quite amazing the transformation we can get. Quite a bit of dirt along there, so this will need a bit of attention. Yeah, it's lifting it up, which is what I was hoping. Yeah, definitely better than what they were. Yeah, definitely better. $1969. Last one now. So again, you have a look before, you can see sort of the bits of wear around there, around the edges. We should be able to get a lot of that up. But it does require a little bit of elbow grease. There we are, that's looking alright. Do the spine now. That was quite mucky. The back is also quite the worse for wear, so let's do a number on this one as well. I think that's about as good as we're going to get it. Okay. All right. Nice. A few more vintage ones to finish off. Now this is one from Paul. This one's actually really, really nice. His stuff is excellent quality. A discerning collector, you could say. So lovely. These should clean up nicely as well. I do rue the day I had the first two signed by Douglas Adams, and I sold them in my shop back in the day. Wish I'd kept hold of them, but the old chestnut of hindsight is a, a great thing. Nice and fresh now. Yet another bit of cloth. I need some more Mr. Sheen quite soon. We're almost out of this particular bottle. Last time I had a bit of a job finding any. There was a bit of a Mr. Sheen shortage, if you can imagine it. But couple of later 1960s Penguin specials. Very pleased to get these. And big improvements on my own copies. That. We've still got a few to go. Get another fresh bit of cloth. And this was alright, but it was just a shame that the spine was faded, but that's such a common thing with these. Sadly. Very, very nice to see these as well. There's a tiny little mark on there, which as expected is coming up nicely. Let's give it a bit of direct to the cover. Yeah, edited by Martha Foley. She was long-time editor of this series. Here, that was the 62. This is the 64. It's in worse condition, but still pleased to have it. It's definitely acceptable for me. Yeah, a bit of a dark spine, sadly. Might be able to do something with that in a sec. Looks like it's suffered the old nicotine. Bit of a shame. But it was cheap. It was cheap, I can't complain. But that's what's caused this. It's nicotine. You wait till you see this. Telltale. Yeah, cigarettes. Right. Miss Peel can finish us off. Gorgeous. Lovely. Well, I do hope you've enjoyed looking through what was quite a mega haul. Thanks again to everyone who's contributed to this particular episode, not least of which my friend Chris in America for finding me all these books, or buying me all these books on my behalf and taking the time to ship them over so carefully. So thank you, Chris and Juliet, for keeping an eye on the postman as they've been coming in. Thanks to Ludmilla with her info on the Agatha Christie's, and Paul with his contributions, and Rudolph as well. Absolutely fantastic this time round. I hope it's been entertaining to yourself as well. As always, thanks to my channel members and supporters over on Patreon. And if this is the last video you get to watch before the London Paperback show, I sincerely hope to see as many of you there as possible. Do come by and say hello. Thank you very much for watching today. Don't forget to give the video a thumbs up and leave a comment. And I shall look forward to seeing you again very soon. Bye.